And thus, my dear brothers and sisters, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in one amongst the very many treasures of his eloquence sallallahu alaihi wasallam and of his wisdom that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestowed upon him, told us, ثلاث مهلكات وثلاث منجيات وثلاث كفارات وثلاث درجات. لكن سأتحدث اليوم في هذه الدقائق التي معنا، سأتحدث عن الثلاثة الأول. ثلاث مهلكات. Three features or characteristics are destructive, that is to the life of an individual and nay to the life of a society. In other words, if any of these features are part of our characteristics, then it is on the way of destruction that we are headed. Self-destruction before destruction of others. Sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam says, describing those three: one, شح مطاع. اثنان, هوى متبع. الثالث, وإعجاب المرء بنفسه. شح مطاع. What does shuh mean? Shuh is the inner state inside of you or inside of me that is characterized by keeping, by holding, by not sharing, by preferring to own and to keep rather than to give. That state of the inner self. And then when it is obeyed, it becomes bukhl. When that inner state called shuh, as I described, is obeyed externally, it becomes greed or miserliness at the external level. And thus Rasulullah says, shuhun muta', and he qualified that shuh with muta', a shuh that is obeyed. Why did he qualify this sallallahu alayhi wasallam? Because as human beings, many times or sometimes indeed, we are challenged by inner feelings of greed. But that inner feeling of greed, either we externalize it or we restrain it. Restraining it is an act of righteousness, is an act of maturity, is an act of wisdom, is an act of consciousness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is an act of fear from Allah Azza wa Jal, is an act of love for Allah Azza wa Jal, is an act of consciousness of what awaits me. But when I let it loose, when I express it, when I externalize it, that is what becomes destructive. وَمَنْ يُوقَ شُحَّ نَفْسِهِ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ, says Allah Azza wa Jal. What means whosoever is shielded and protected and guarded from his or her own shuh, such indeed will attain felicity. Such indeed will attain happiness. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam used to teach us also a dua. Allahumma qini shuhha nafsi. Ya Allah, protect me from the shuh of my inner self. One companion, I believe, maybe I forgot his name, maybe it was Abdullah ibn Umar, during Hajj season, as he was performing tawaf around the Kaaba, and we know of the high recommended dhikr while we perform tawaf around the Kaaba, and he used to incessantly say, Allahumma qini shuhha nafsi, Allahumma qini shuhha nafsi, Allahumma qini shuhha nafsi, Allahumma qini shuhha nafsi. And when inquired from him, why did you keep only that dua? Why not other ad'iyah? And he said, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, because he was focused on that dua, he said, when Allah Azza wa Jal protects me from the shuh of my nafs, then everything else will be fine after that. And Allah says, وَمَنْ يُوقَ شُحَّ نَفْسِهِ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. And if Allah Azza wa Jal shields me from the shuh of myself, therefore I will attain felicity. And thus he insisted on the dua, رضي الله تعالى عنه.